In David Hume's Dialogues Concerning Natural Religion, Part 10 or Chapter 10, we find a classical statement of the problem of evil. And let's just take a look at this quickly. And here's what Hume writes. It's an argument that he puts in the mouth of one of the characters, the character here being Philo. Keep in mind that dialogues in philosophy have an ancient heritage. They come from Greece, and during the early modern period, Hume, Berkeley had both written dialogues, and following the the origin of philosophical dialogues, that is from Plato, and given that it was from Greek philosophy, they seem to name their characters with Greek names. The characters here being Philo, Cleanthes, and Demia. So this is a debate between Cleanthes and Philo. And it says, "And is it possible, Cleanthes," said Philo, "that after these reflections, and countless others that might be suggested, you still stick to your anthropomorphism, and assert that the moral attributes of God, his justice, benevolence, mercy, and uprightness, are of the same natures as these virtues in human creatures?" The point that's being made here, and what's preceded this, is a very lengthy discussion of the argument from design. And when he's talking about Philo is telling Cleanthes, are you still sticking to your, or asking him, are you really still sticking to your anthropomorphism? He's given many arguments to show that there's a problem with the argument from design, because you're attributing man-like attributes to God. That's what anthropomorphism is, attributing human-like characteristics to a non-human-like being. So that's the question that he's asking him, and that's kind of the beginning. And notice he's looking at the moral attributes, so you're getting an idea where he's going. Let's continue. "We grant that his power is infinite. Whatever he wills to happen does happen." Right? We talked about omnipotence. "But neither man nor any other animal is happy. Therefore, God doesn't will their happiness. His knowledge is infinite. He is never mistaken in his choice of means to any end. But the course of nature doesn't lead to human or animal happiness. Therefore, nature isn't established for that purpose. Through the whole range of human knowledge, there are no inferences more certain and infallible than these. Well then, in what respects do his benevolence and mercy resemble the benevolence and mercy of men?" We now see that Philo is pressing the point, the issue of evil, and he certainly has a very dismal perspective of the world. He's certainly focusing on the kind of evil things that we discussed just a second ago, as opposed to the good things that exist. But he does have a purpose, and his purpose comes in the next paragraph. He says, "Epicurus's old questions have still not been answered." Epicurus was a Greek philosopher that followed Aristotle in time. Plato and Aristotle were kind of the legends. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, the legends of ancient philosophy. And Epicurus was a major philosopher who came at a later period. But here's an argument that he's about to give. Notice it's the argument from evil, the problem of evil. So this one has been around since ancient Greece, well over 2,500 years. And here it comes. "Is he willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then he is impotent." Right? Then God can't be omnipotent if he's willing to prevent evil and not able. "Is he able, but not willing? Then he's malevolent." That is not benevolent, the opposite. He's a nasty person. He's not benevolent. "Is he both willing and able? Then where does the evil come from?" In this work, as in all writings on the problem of evil, the topic is the entire range of bad states of affairs, including every kind of suffering. It's not confined to the extreme moral badness that evil stands for today. That's a note of the that the editor put in from this particular edition of the Dialogues Concerning Natural Religion. And this, by the way, this I got from the internet. So we begin to see this is an ancient argument, which is not a criticism. It just means it's been around for a long time, and people have had a lot of time to think about this. But we're beginning to see what the problem is. Now let's turn to actually trying to formulate an argument, making a really precise argument based on the ideas that we've seen here, because we see this looks like a series of questions, but obviously they're rhetorical questions, and we can turn them into premises in an argument that I think is supposed to show that God does not exist.